Okay, another verb that one of the first verbs you're going to learn is llamarse. Llamarse is reflexive. That's what this little SE means on the end. I'm not going to go into great detail about what reflexive means. At some point, we'll go over reflexive verbs after you've learned how to conjugate many, many verbs, and then you'll be ready to understand what that means. But essentially, this is the verb. You can use both of these verbs to tell your name. So I could say, for example, I could say both. Soy Jennifer Ray. If I spell my name right. I'm Jennifer Ray. Or I can say, me llamo Jennifer Ray. Okay. And so the first one means I am Jennifer Ray. The second one says I call myself Jennifer Ray. And it's gonna, well, anyway, I'll just leave it as that. Me llamo Jennifer. And so a lot of times people have thought that this means my name is. It does not mean my name is. That's actually this. Mi nombre es Jennifer Ray. Okay. So this me llamo means I call myself. So if I focus just on that one. Just remember that it means I call myself Jennifer. Okay? All right. And so again, when we're dealing with conjugation, you'll notice that this is the verb llamarse, and then it's spelling change for each subject pronoun. So if I want to say I call myself Jennifer Ray, I'd say yo me llamo Jennifer Ray. Tú te llamas, and then or I might say, ¿Cómo te llamas? How do you call yourself? And you would say, me llamo again. If I want to say, what's his name? ¿Cómo se llama él? Or there might be a couple of us with the same name, and I'd say, nos llamamos Jennifer. Or, ¿Cómo os llamáis vosotros? Maybe we're in class and I want to ask you all what your name is. So anyway, these are the spellings that match up with each subject pronoun. So again, your job is to identify when you're doing activities who the subject is, and then match the spelling with the subject. So for example, here it says mi compañera Ana Melendez. So my roommate calls herself Ana Melendez. So the subject is my roommate. That's who's going to be doing the calling. And my roommate is the same thing as ella. My roommate, she calls herself Ana Melendez. So then I go up here, here's ella. This time I'm not going to stop at ser because I want to use llamarse, and it would be se llama. Se llama Ana Melendez. Okay. Yo, Maripaz Delgado. So again, this is the subject because in a statement, the subject comes before the verb. The verb is what we're missing. So I want to conjugate for yo. Here's the llamar for yo. So I would plug in yo me llamo Maripaz Delgado. ¿Y tú cómo? So I want to know here, and you, what do you call yourself? Or how do you call yourself? So tú is my subject. So I just want to go up here and find tú, and then it's te llamas. ¿Cómo te llamas? Okay. Here, el profesor José Elizondo. Okay, so again, my subject is el profesor. That's the same thing as he. The professor or he calls himself José Elizondo. Okay, so that would be, él. So if I go up here and I find él, it's se llama, so I would put el profesor se llama José Elizondo. Creo que sus compañeras, Marta y Paulina. So I'm saying I think that your classmates, they call themselves Marta y Paulina. So whenever you end up with a proper noun, make sure you're changing it to a pronoun so you could use your chart. So again, I believe that your classmates, that they call themselves Marta y Paulina. And so if I go over here, here's ellas se llaman. Okay. Yo blank Raúl Cuenca Solana. Again, it's yo. And so if I go up here, then me llamo. Yo me llamo Raúl Cuenca Solana. Okay, let's see here. Now both of these could be used as, both of them can be used to say somebody's name. And so, for example, oh, I don't think I can, let's put it here. So you can plug in ser, or you can plug in llamarse. Either or would work. So let me go over here and just, whoops, wrong one. Just so we remember. Okay, so there's our verb chart that we can use. So here, blank Shakira y Juanes. So it says, for Spanish newspaper, you've been assigned to include descriptions of 3 famous Spanish-speaking people. Tell their name and their nationality. When you tell their name, you can use ser or llamarse. When you talk about their nationality, it's only going to be ser. Because you can't say, I call myself Colombia. You would want to say, I am from Colombia. But you can say, I am Shakira. I call myself Shakira. So here, who calls themselves Shakira and Juanes would have to be they. So you could either look at ser and say son Shakira y Juanes, or you could do se llaman, they call themselves Shakira y Juanes. Okay? Y blank de Colombia, who's from Colombia? Well, they are. The sentence is about them. This time I have to use ser, and it's going to be they because we're talking about Shakira and Juanes, so I would put son. Okay. And then here, blank Penelope Cruz y blanca Española. She is Penelope Cruz, or she calls herself Penelope Cruz, or her name is Penelope Cruz would be a better way to, that's not the literal translation, but that's what makes more sense in our language. So it would be es Penelope Cruz, she is, right? Ella es, or ella se llama Penelope Cruz, and she's Spanish. That has to be ser. You can't say she calls herself Spanish because she doesn't call herself Spanish. She just is Spanish. He is Javier Bardem, so that would be es, or se llama Javier Bardem y blank de España. He's from Spain, has to be es. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense on how to use llamarse and ser.